Okay. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and good people of all ages? Um, Looking at was the political streams that's been on YouTube and the Black manosphere, and outside the Black manosphere, I've for the most part I've tried. I talk rarely about politics per se, but one of the reasons that I don't like talking about it is because talking about politics becomes a conversation with idiots. Because, and this is what I mean. Why I say this is why it's idiocracy. It's because what winds up happening is you got people. You got people who are not knowledgeable about history, not knowledgeable about politics, not knowledgeable how things came to be, but they picked an ideology and they just riding with it, and they can't see the flaws in it. There's nothing wrong with being a liberal. There's nothing wrong with being a conservative. There's nothing wrong with being a Democrat. There's nothing wrong with being a Republican. Nothing wrong with being an independent. You know, but it becomes, you know, stupid when you pick a side and you don't even, and you riding so hard that you're blind to reality. Like, reality is a problem. And what I mean by that is this: Democrats and Republicans, what's up, Amon? What's up, Melvin? Basically, what's been going on in the political system for the longest is one party gets into power and they do what they think is what they assume to be right because it's their ideology. Then they never actually looked at checks and balances of it. So they made a grave mistake. And then the next party got to come along and try to fix it. And when they try to fix it, most of the time it doesn't work or it gets worse. So we want to play this game like, oh, it's the right, it's the left, it's the Democrats, it's the Republicans. It's like, no, what it is two different sects of people are out of their minds. If you hear somebody who's really, so far right or so far left in their thinking, you know, basically they got mental issues. Because everything that they're gonna say, what's up, what's up, Patrick? Everything that they're gonna say is gonna make sense to them and them alone. You see, and I'm doing this both ways. People say, what's up, Thug? When Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. That lets people know you are out of your mind. You're crazy. You got mental issues. You know what I'm saying? But then when these people talk about, oh, what is the Republicans are doing such a good job. When have Republicans done a good job in power? Because if you know anything about it, truth be told, the parties are flip-flopped. And I've said this previously on one of the few times I talk about politics. Guess what's happening? The things that Republicans stood on to be great, that's what Democrats do. The things that Democrats talked about makes them great, that's what Republicans do. So when somebody like BGS says conservatives are really liberals and liberals are really conservatives, he got a point. Definitely got a point. Because let's go into, you hear the people who are conservative, it's these democratic cities, these democratic ran cities in America. Well, so you're right. Democratic ran cities in America are failing. That's what you're saying. What's up, Truth? Because of what? Because of what? Because of what? Oh, you don't say. Because when they come to us as black people in the black community, oh, it's the crime, it's the drugs and the crime, and the Democratic ran cities got you people, in a bunch, and the Democrats have held you down and held you back. And I'm like, yeah, I get what you're saying with their policies. I get it. I get what you're trying to say, but who brought who brought the drugs in? Wasn't it Republicans? What wasn't that Republicans? Wasn't Iran Contra Republicans? Since we're gonna talk about the crack era, that was Ronald Reagan and George Bush Sr. So all of this things that's going on in these democratic cities, the reason why they so messed up is because Republicans thought it was a good idea to use drugs to fund a war in a country to fight for freedom for other people when everybody in this country wasn't free. So what happened after that? Yeah, I feel you on that, Time Bandit. Marty, I feel you on that. What happened after that? Let me guess. When the crime went out of control, you know what happened? The black folks started saying, hey, we need to get some tougher laws. So the Democrats made what? The crime bill. Oh, and then the crime bill wound up over time being, it was already disproportionately messed up in the beginning, and they talked about that in the beginning. You know, truth, we ain't even gonna get into that. But, but at the end of the day, now you took crime. And people should have known something was up when, you could get more time for 12 rocks than you could for a kilo. You should have known something was going on. Hold up for a second. So let me see if I can do it this way. So now we're living in a society where people want to play this game. And I'm thinking to myself, y'all are stupid. Yeah, the crime bill in prison a lot of innocent black men, but what? Well, they weren't innocent. Well, okay, yeah, they were innocent black men who got locked up behind the crime bill. But brother, innocent black men have been getting locked up ever since the prison industrial complex started. You know. So I'm sitting here listening to people talking about politics, and the same thing's happening with this Jacob Blake, Kyle Rittenhouse situation. And it's all politics. No, it's all common sense. It's all common sense. That's what it is. And if you don't have common sense, you put politics in replace of your common sense. You know. So now we're in this society where, because I got friends online and friends in real life who are online who politics, politics, politics. Oh, look at this and look at that and look at this. Oh, it's like, man, listen, you're stupid. I can tell you're stupid because this is one thing that most people do that are liberal and conservative, but I gotta say, I see this more from conservatives. You pick up news stories that ain't on real news sites, and then you post them up like they're fact. This is what goes on. People post up stuff, a study that wasn't a study, a crime that wasn't a crime that was 10 years ago, and now all of a sudden you want to repost it like it happened just yesterday. Like, what? Somebody threw up the phone. So it's like, oh, okay. This is why it's idiocracy. I remember, and the bad part about it is, I'm looking at it like, this is why this country is never going to go anywhere because people are so hell bent on, I'm a conservative, I'm a liberal, I'm a Democrat, Republican, that what hasn't been answered yet? How are you going to fix the economy? So The Democrats, the Republicans, the liberals, and the conservatives are flat out dummies when it comes to fixing the economy. Because all of these problems getting in the way. Thanks, Tony. So all the things. What's up, Tone? So all of these facts and non-facts and news and fake news, nobody has asked or had an answer or had a solution to the question: how are you gonna get out of this debt? See, that should be the country's number one issue. Shouldn't be all of this. The liberals and the Democrats. What's up, chaos? Oh my God. It's, what about the gays? What about the blacks? What about BLM? What about All Lives Matter? How come you ain't said nothing about the debt? This lets me know both sides are stupid. Both people who just are wholeheartedly on either side are stupid. Because if you're a Democrat, you can say, well, the reason why the country is broke like this in the first place is because of Republicans. That would be true. But guess what? What's up, John? What a and the Republicans will say, well, if you Democrats had an idea, maybe President Obama shouldn't have been such a punk and trying to kowtow and be, everybody's friend and do what he thought would actually make the country money and save the country money. But he punked out. Yep, you can say that too. So guess what? Both sides are stupid. Did he say he had a plan? Yeah, that's what part of the affordable health care plan was. That over not the first 7 to 10 years, but the next, it would save the country trillions of dollars and knock down the current debt and deficit and knock it in half or something. But we don't want that. We don't want people fought for that. This is the other thing why I say this is idiocracy. Because what you get is you get two different sides of the same coin being a hypocrite the same way. One party wants, free speech and able to have free speech. We should all be able to say whatever we want, have free speech in this country. But guess what? It's hard to have free speech in the country with a bunch of idiots, because if you say something somebody don't like, all of a sudden, oh my God, you're evil. But then you got the other side, we got the right to bear arms. No, actually, only one side, has the right to bear arms, and the other side, when they bear arms, it becomes a problem. See, when you use the Constitution and you politicize the Constitution, that it goes from one party. This work, the free speech is really a Democratic thing, and and guns rights is really a Republican thing. That's not how it was written. That's sorry to break the news to you, but so if that's what you chose, that's what you chose. But that's not how it's written. Everybody got quote unquote free speech. Everybody got a right to bear arms. But here we go. We enforce it differently when we think you're in a different group. If I think you're a Republican or conservative, oh, you carrying a gun, that's understandable. But if I think you're a liberal or a Democrat, oh, he's carrying a gun, he must be something's wrong with him. Like, oh my God, this is stupid. This is why people look at this country like y'all are idiots. Because now, since we don't have all these protests going on, now everybody gonna bring guns. Police gonna bring guns. Oh, the conservatives gonna bring guns, and the liberals gonna bring guns. Now who's in the wrong? You know what I'm saying? Now who's in the wrong? What's up, Evans? Who's in the wrong then? When everybody show up with long rifles, breaking curfew, what's the problem then? We're all just protected. We all got our Second Amendment rights. Oh my God. Gun laws don't affect the criminals in Chicago. Yes, it does. Because if you get caught, how, and you put up them forks earlier, Melvin. You know good and well if you're a criminal and you get caught with a gun, you're gonna catch a charge. I got friends back home that went to jail because they wasn't supposed because they was criminals and they had guns on them. When you that's the gun laws affect criminals in Chicago. They gonna catch a case for that. Sometimes you could catch more time for the damn gun as you would the body. In certain aspects in America, I ain't gonna say Chicago anymore, but I know other states. You could get, the gun charge if you're a criminal could get you as much as the body. That's where we at. That's this is part of the political process, and it's all rhetoric, it's all propaganda, it's all narrative, it all lacks facts. And if people bring facts, then people change the subject. Everybody, geez, in my bad, what's popping? Everybody has a talking point, and when somebody proves your talking point wrong, then you change the talking point to some technicality to make you feel right. Man, appreciate that, MC. Yeah, your message your comment just popped up. Like this is where we at, and it's basically being an idiot. You know, People bring up everything under the sun as if all of the ills in America and in American politics wasn't agreed by both parties. Hate to break the news to you. There were Republicans that voted on that voted for quote unquote Democratic policies, and there were Democrats that voted on and voted for Republican policies. I don't know why we act like that don't exist. So do some parties have a bigger hand in it? Yes, but guess it is what it is. Ghost at top, yeah, but it don't make no sense. I get tired of looking at people trying to be smart idiots. As long as you can lie with a straight face. And here's the other thing about why it's idiocracy. Everybody gets triggered. Everybody gets triggered. This is why all these conversations go left. Because somebody says something opposite of the narrative, the propaganda, the BS. And if you ain't really got an answer, you start an argument. I don't care which side. You start an argument, and then the argument ensues over some shenanigans, some far left technicality, or some, you know, non sequitur, just straw man. Yeah, and then it's like, and then somebody tries to change the whole conversation into what they arguing about, and I'm looking at this stuff like, all you triggering people to not deal with fixing the problem. What's America's number one problem is America's in debt. And then on top of that, what makes it more idiotic is, guess what? The vast majority, the vast majority of your congressmen and women have been in Congress for decades. So you got people on both sides who've been in Washington for 10, 20, 30, 40, and in obscure cases, 50 years and ain't got a solution still. So we're worrying about the ideology of idiots. Because if you was working on a job for 20, 30, 40, 50 years and you saw all the ins and outs of how everything worked, and then you saw all the goods, you saw all the bads, and now you get in a situation and you don't know what to do. All you want to do is argue about things that are not important. Then I gotta say you're stupid. And you're stupid by birth, you're stupid by occupation, you're stupid on purpose. You know, what's up, nobody? So it's like, okay, so this is what we doing. You know, And if somebody says the right little sentence, everybody goes off. Oh, you know, if you're a Republican, you tell black people, get off the Democratic plantation, and they're looking at Republicans sound exactly the way that they say Democrats sound, like they're on a Republican plantation. It's like, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You got people like, and O'Shea talked about that. You got people saying, oh, you black people need to stop depending on the government and these white people and get on your own. Brexit. But you depending on white people and not working. What? What? There's no difference between Brexit and BLM. They're both funded by white people. Like, what the hell are you talking about? But somehow one group is smarter than the other group. You know, it's like, no, you're idiots. You're both idiots. You're both idiots. I mean, no, and that's what I said earlier. Democrats are responsible for the crime bill. But the crime bill came up because the Republicans let drugs into the country. What's up, Chef? That's the crazy part about that time, baby. Crack started with Reagan, Iran Contra, Bush. You brought drugs into the country and now, look at all these bad, look at this. Stupidity. The globalization, what was Clinton, what is that? Is it NAFTA? Nobody, NAFTA ain't really working too well for us, is it? The minute you let everybody go global out of the country, the minute they started moving American manufacturing globally, guess what? The country started suffering. Yeah, families are on the decline too, exactly. And you know what? You know who signed the no fault divorce? Guess who? Reagan. But but people talk about the feminism and Title IX and the women's rights and this. Well, guess what happened? Both of them responsible. Both of them are responsible. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. So which party was right? You tell me. You tell me. And if you really want to be honest about feminism in America, as we all said in the black community, feminism basically rode the coattails of the civil rights movement. That's what happened. So guess what? At the time, us as a people, we were mostly Republicans. Oh, so feminism, when it came into play, riding black coattails was actually a Republican thing. But you know what? That doesn't. People forget that. People forget that. You know. So now we're gonna play this game. You know. So this is what I mean by political idiocracy. Everybody wants to be a politician. Everybody wants to be an analyst. Everybody, I'm right and you're wrong. No, because you can only talk about something that benefits you. It benefits your argument, your asinine argument half of the time. Because right now when people say, okay, um, the situation up in Kenosha, and yes, that young man, you could say he was defending himself. What's up, as a guy? Like, yeah, it was self-defense. The question ain't When the tape that you saw was or was not self-defense. The question is, what happened prior to that? See, nobody asked the question, who brings a 17-year-old out with a rifle at a protest? What kind of human being thinks that's a good idea? Oh, and a 17-year-old walking, like when you walking around with a gun, around people who you don't see eye to eye with, that's normally an intimidation tactic. Now I live in Texas. A few years ago, they was going to make open carry legal everywhere. Actually, they did make it legal everywhere. It passed 18 and 19 in January. That's when people could do it. You know what wound up happening? All of the businesses in Texas say you don't bring no gun in here. The grocery store don't bring no gun in here. Chick-fil-A don't bring no gun in here. Home Depot don't bring no gun in here. Target, Walmart don't bring no gun in here. Because all of that is private property. So all of this, I'm protecting property stuff. I know where I'm at, that wouldn't fly really. Because nobody asked you to bring your gun to their property in the first place. They don't want your guns on their property or in their property. Now, do people like help? Yeah. Wisconsin has an open carry, but he ain't from Wisconsin. He's from Illinois. His parents from Illinois. That's the thing. I think that was a school night. What is he doing? And it's like a 30-minute drive though. But like my older cousin was a coach at a college that bordered one of the states that marijuana is legal. But so it was one college on one side of the border and another college on the other side of the border. You get what I'm saying? So you know what the students would do? From the state that it wasn't legal, they would drive to the state that was legal, buy marijuana, and then try to drive back. And then they would get arrested by the police for what? Trafficking drugs. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? And these were, predominantly white states. Did all those kids get like maximum charges? I doubt it. What's up, Darren? I doubt it. But when you go across state lines with anything, the states change. It's why when people talk about states' rights, I'm a gun owner. I got guns, but I got the and I got my license and all that. So there are certain states I can go and certain states I can't. But I'll be damned if I'm gonna put my son in the car with me with guns and go to a protest with a teenager. No, absolutely not. And I'm not gonna leave my kid out there without my supervision at the same time. That's bad parenting. See, people put politics into that, but that is bad parenting. People will put a protest in there. Oh, because of the protest, that's a good idea. No, it's not a good idea. Not a good idea. What's up, Otasia? So it's like, it's BS, because like I've said this before. Yeah, I got the reciprocity, but like I remember, so I'm a big boxing fan. I got a boxing podcast, so I'm gonna do a boxing podcast tomorrow. But let me like even with the reciprocity, let me tell y'all how. This is how race and politics and gun laws play into each other. When Plexico Burrows went to jail for shooting himself, it's because he didn't renew his gun license, basically, and he didn't have reciprocity in New York at the time. So they charged him with like interstate, being interstate with a gun. Same thing happened to quote unquote Lil Wayne when he got locked up. Now, New York and California have real strict gun laws. So when Floyd Mayweather fought Robert Guerrero, Guerrero got arrested in, I want to say, California, because he brought his gun to, he was in New York or California, but I think it's California. He got arrested because he tried to bring his stuff on the plane. You know, he tried to check it in at the airport, and they was like, "Oh no!" But guess what? Because of his race, they didn't charge him like they would anybody else. Because there were other people, you know, who've got that same type of issue. You go to the airport, you got a gun, you're gonna get arrested. But if you're in a state that doesn't have reciprocity, and you're gonna get charged, you're gonna get put in jail for that. But his race was different, so it's not a big deal. What's up, Gerald Meadows? But people forget, you know, this is the part of politics. So if I take my gun from Texas and fly to the airport in California, there's no reciprocity in California. I'm gonna get locked up for that. Even if it was, you know, in my bag on a plane, blah blah blah, you know, unless I got money and lawyers, I'm gonna get locked up for that. But when you got black guys with money and lawyers, it don't work. When you got non-black guys with money and lawyers, it work. Coolio, yeah. So it's this is why I'm saying the politics, talking politics is idiocracy, because the same rules don't apply to everybody politically. The same ideology doesn't apply to everybody when you put the ideology together. You know, the freedom of speech don't work for both sides. The Second Amendment don't work for both sides, or don't work for each race, or this, that, and the third. The voting laws and the voting rights, it don't work the same. You know, the ability to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Your political affiliation is not going to do that. You know, it's not going to do that. But people want to play their game, and to me, it's like it's just stupid. You know, but if you come over on this side, the law is gonna work for you. But if you come over on this side, you know, the law is not gonna work for you. So the law ain't the law, is what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Idiocracy. It's the same thing with Democrats trying to make everything a nuclear family. Idiocracy. You want to go against biology just because what? Because of feeling. Idiocracy. But I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. I just wanted to speak that. I gotta get something to eat. Been a long day, but I'm gonna catch y'all tomorrow. Y'all take care. Bless God bless you. Oh, wait, before I go. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Rest in peace, Cliff Robinson. I was broke up because I found out this morning. So, brothers, rest in peace. Rest in peace, rest in power, you know, rest in heaven. I'm out.